Hello, friends. I am Abed, and today I'm here with another video related to international relations. This video is about philosophy and ethics. It's a very basic, video about the concept of philosophy. I think every international relations student must know what actually philosophy is, even though it's not read in international relations as much as other concepts are, but it's an important topic. Let me tell you this very clearly. So today we are going to talk about philosophy and ethics. uh, so what's actually philosophy? The word philosophy comes from a Greek word philosophia, which literally means love of wisdom. So, philosophy is the study of general and fundamental problems concerning existence, knowledge, values, reason, mind, and language. Philosophical methods to solve these problems include questioning, critical discussions, rational arguments, and scientific presentations. So, what does a philosopher do throughout his life? Or what does a philosopher seek? A philosopher seeks to answer the following questions. And these questions are very important. You can ask these questions to yourself and try to answer these questions. The first question a philosopher tries to answer is, what's the meaning of life? If I ask you this question, what will be your answer? Honestly speaking, I'm curious about your answer. What's the meaning of life? So a philosopher tries to seek or tries to answer this question. What's the meaning of life? The second question which a philosopher tries to answer is, what's the nature of reality? This is also another important question. What's the nature of reality? The third question which a philosopher tries to answer is, why do people do what they do? It sounds a little bit funny, but honestly speaking, this question is difficult to answer. Why do people do what they do? Many psychologists have done research on this question and tried to comprehend or tried to answer or tried to uh, actually give a valid answer so that the readers could understand. But it's very difficult to answer this question. So the first question which a philosopher tries to answer is, why something happens when it happens. The fifth question that a philosopher tries to answer is, what's the best way to live a life? Look, we ask ourselves also, what's the best way to live a life, to live a good life? Now, coming to another question is, if we look at the another question, it's what's right and what's wrong. According to me, something is right, and according to another person, it may be wrong. So a philosopher tries to answer this question, what's right and what's wrong. The last question which a philosopher tries to answer is, what is just and what's unjust. This is also a very important question, because the perception or the way a person perceives something is totally different from the way another person perceives that thing. So this is a very important question. A philosopher tries to answer this question, what is just and what's unjust according to him. So if we look from top to bottom, we see a philosopher tries to answer the following questions. Number one, what's the meaning of life? Number two, what's the nature of reality? Number three, why people do what they do. The fourth question is, why something happens when it happens. The fifth one is, what's the best way to live a life. The sixth one is, what's right and what's wrong. And the last one is, what's just and what's unjust. So basically, philosophers are independent thinkers who try to find the meaning of life using their own experiences and observations. Philosophers are usually not successful by worldly standards, as they refuse to become part of the rat race as common men are. And also because they question the very basics of the rat race to seek money, power, name, and fame. To rather comprehend this in a very easy way, I would suggest you to read Dostoevsky's book, The Brothers Karamazov. I don't know the complete pronunciation, whether it is right or wrong, but I think you should go with this book so that you will understand. Actually, Dostoevsky summarizes the endeavors of philosophers, one of those who don't want millions but an answer to their questions. So, philosophers search for ultimate truth of life. If one understands the greatest truth of the world, one may not become rich, but will surely become free of seeking worldly values and the inherent misery that is integrated in their pursuits. So philosophers actually try to actually philosophers they are not like common men. We can say that because common men just wants to gain wealth and just wants to become rich. But a philosopher tries to answer these questions that I mentioned earlier. So anyway, coming to the topic is philosophy. The Western philosophy can be divided into six branches. The first one is epistemology. The second one is metaphysics. The third one is logic. The fourth one is ethics. The fifth one is aesthetics, and the last one is political philosophy. I don't know if I should go into detail or I should or I should stay with their definitions. But I will give you a general idea what epistemology is. Epistemology, the theory of knowledge. It's derived from the Greek word episteme, which means knowledge, and logos, which means speech or word. So it's actually a branch of philosophy that deals with the nature, origin, scope, and possibility of knowledge. So epistemology categorized questions arise with what is. For example,